these are all of the books that I read in July, and I am very proud of myself. So we have a lot to debrief on. We've got 9 books to discuss, which is actually very good for me. I'm a very slow reader. Actually, I read 8. I lied. This is from last month, to be fair. I did like a mid-year reading recap up to June, but then I read this after I did that video, so that was in June, but I haven't spoke about it yet, so I thought it deserved its time. Firstly, happy August. I'm literally recording this on July 30th. Like, I've barely given myself enough time to video it, edit it, and get it out by hopefully the 1st, but I'm praying that that all kind of works out. I hope everybody's having a good summer. I feel like it's a canon event for me to have a shit summer every single year, but we're doing okay so far. And obviously I've had a good reading month too. Like I said, I've read 8 books this month, 1 book last month, but we're putting it together because who actually cares? It's semantics. I also want to point out a lot of my books this month have been quite chunky, so I'm going to give myself credit where credit is due. I find it difficult to read a chunky book, like one after the other, but we really locked in. Also the genres, like, yeah, I read a variety of different genres this month. We've got contemporary romance, we've got a lot of fantasy, and then we've also got dark romance. I am not a dark romance girl whatsoever. I've never read it in my life, but we did this month because it's the first time for everything. We're going to start with this book here. This is obviously the one that I just gave you guys a sneak peek at, and I mean, just look how pretty it is. I won't even lie to you, I got this because of the sprayed edges. The Works loves doing sprayed edges, and I'm sure they probably make a lot of money from it, from people like me. Like I said, if you didn't watch my mid-year reading wrap-up video, I spoke about the first book to this series. I'm presuming it's going to be a series. There's only 2 books out right now. What was the first one called? First Time Caller. I spoke about that in that video. Didn't like that book. Aiden was one of them where he was like, I think you're too good for me. You don't want to fall in love with a guy like me. I gave that a 2.75. The plot, well, there was no plot, in my opinion anyway, and I was really excited for this because I did obviously buy it for the sprayed edges and it was a cute pair. But I've seen people talking about First Time Caller, not necessarily this one, but I bought it because it came with it. But people had really good things to say about it, so I was heavily disappointed. The concept of like the characters in this like book series, they're basically on like a radio station. This one here focuses on Jackson. Jackson does the weather report, and I was so excited for his story when I was reading him as a side character in the first one. I could just tell he was like really dorky and cute, and that's actually my cup of tea. And then we have the female main character, Delilah Stewart, redhead baddie, and I think she did it on like the TV instead, so he kind of like hid behind the camera, he did the weather forecast for the radio, and then she actually like would show her face, and they were kind of like not enemies, it wasn't enemies to lovers, but they had kind of like a rivalry because they were working for different places. He kind of envied her a bit because she had the confidence to show herself and he couldn't do that. Then their managers put them together to broadcast a storm that's happening. I can't remember where this is set, and yeah, that's where it goes from there. This wasn't like the most amazing book, but it was a really easy read. I think I was literally getting bored towards the end of it, but other than that, like, I was having a fun time with it. I was kicking my feet at a lot of these chapters, which is always a good sign. And Jackson was so shy, like the majority of it, really awkward, and then he had like a different side to him. They had really good banter too. Like, I would be like actually audibly laughing at a lot of these chapters. And you know what, even though I did not like the first book, I could tell by BK Borison's writing that it was just a bad book. Do you know? No, that was, I didn't say that right. Or maybe that book was an anomaly. I think that's a better way to say it. It was just one of those that it wasn't my thing, but I could tell that maybe she wrote other books that were, which is why I did end up reading this, even though I didn't have a good experience with the first one. And now I'm really glad I did, because I will be reading more of her book. But yeah, I gave this a 4.25, I believe, because it was just a fun, easy read. It's not something I think about often. I really had to search my memory then to just give you guys a debrief on what happened in it. So it's not the most memorable, but if you're looking for a fun time, this would be it. Next, we have a fantasy book. This is The Dawn of the Cursed Queen. So this is the 3rd book in the God and... Is that how you say it? The Gods and Monsters trilogy. I think the first book is better known just as the Book of Azrael. Now this is a big book. Like, the second one was the biggest. I really struggled with that one, The Throne of Broken Gods. And I read them all back to back, and I have not gone back to this series since this one because it was a good book, but I had to take a break from that universe. I gave this, I think, a 4.5. My ratings on this series have like significantly fluctuated. If you go back to, like I said before, that half-year reading wrap-up where I've got all my books in that video too, you will see I think I gave them different ratings the first 2 books, but now they're both at a 4.75 and this is a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot more spice in this book. It wasn't even too much for me, and sometimes it can be. It was still fine. It's just a lot more than the first 2, which really surprised me. But cool, whatever. It's Sam Kiel at the end of the day. Like, I'm not gonna complain. I don't really know how to explain the 3rd book in a series without spoiling it. How do people do this? This is my first time doing just like a month reading wrap up, so I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. If you didn't know, it focuses on Diana and Sam Kiel. Sam Kiel is my baby, just to make that clear. I think I read it for him at this point. For me, the plot has become very complicated, which is bound to happen in a lot of fantasy books, and it's bound to happen when you've got a brain as small as mine. Like, them things just don't go together. It started off in the first book quite easy to get through. A lot of world building, sure. Second book, also a lot of world building. This book had less world building, but I don't know how to say this in the nicest way possible. It got a bit silly. Is that mean to say? Obviously, I still really loved it. Like, you can tell because I gave it a 4.5. And when I get up to 4.5s and 4.75, I consider them, like, books I love. It just wasn't 5 worthy, and in my opinion none of them are, because I feel like I could always cut, for some reason, a good 200 pages off these books and it wouldn't make much of a difference. This is kind of like reverse Grumpy Sunshine. Diana is the badass. She's more of like the morally grey character, I think you'd say, and then Sam Kiel's actually the one that's trying to lighten the mood, and they go together really perfectly. I just couldn't even give you a summary of what the fuck actually happened in this book. A lot happened, and it actually hurts my brain even trying to think about it. All I'll say is at the end of this book really threw me off. It could have easily been a 4.75. I think my review on Goodreads literally just said, this was chaos and I loved it. That was my review. But the end is what deducted like a 0.25 off the rating, because I don't know how to explain it without giving like a major spoiler. We've started using concepts of death, but like, like hell, I guess. Like, we're introducing actually the afterlife. That is it's like a really hard concept to get your head around when you're reading a book. I've said what I had to say. 4.5, really good book. Overall, the series is really fun. I've got the 4th book sitting on my shelf. When I'm going to pick it up, I don't know, because it actually frightens me. I'm just procrastinating it, to be fair. Next, we have my first 5-star of the month. I'm going to be honest, whether it will stay a 5-star, I'm not sure, but I feel this way right now. This is a very like hyped book on TikTok. There is a hair on it. Mile High. This is the first book in the Windy City series. I was so excited to get into this book, and I vividly remember starting it and hating it. For the first 20 pages, I could not stand Liz Tom Fordy's writing. Really bizarre. And I think because I automatically read the first couple chapters and I was like, oh my god, this is shit, I hate this. I got my like expectations really low, and then suddenly it picked up and I was like, whoa. This follows Xander's and Stevie. Xander's is a hockey player, so it's a sports romance. This is everybody's like least favourite in the series, I'm pretty sure. Like, a lot of people be rating this one like the lowest ratings, and then the other books be getting 5, which is why I think this could go down to a 4.75 when I read the others. The only thing I have to say is it is stupidly long. Like, it did not need to be drawn out to nearly 600 pages. This is 598 pages. It doesn't need to be that long. Then again, I wouldn't say it is just like a silly little romance. It isn't. It's a lot deeper than that. There's a lot of found family that you're introduced to in this, and if you don't know me, that is my favourite trope, because I kill for the families like a lot more than I do for the romance, and you're introduced to a lot in this book, so I get why there's a lot of pages. It was just, I think I was like 3/4 into it and I was like, okay, hurry the fuck up now. But I gave it a 5 because these two did actually melt my heart. She is a flight attendant for his team, hence Mile High, although they never did actually join the Mile High Club, if you were wondering. That was never a thing. But yeah, I can't wait for the next book, because that is best friend's brother. It's her older brother, oh my god, what's his name? But it's her brother and her best friend Indy, who also was a flight attendant with her. She's just broken up with her boyfriend, and then that's their book. I think it's fake dating, which sounds very fun. So yeah, also a lot of spice in this. Like I said, that's not really my cup of tea, but if I can tolerate it, then it must be good, you know? Take that from me. Like, it was actually quite emotional, and Stevie had a lot of like body issues. A lot of people were saying they hated how much it focused on Stevie being bigger, so I prepared myself for it to be ridiculous, but I genuinely took it as like one of the major plot points, like for a reason. It was an insecurity of hers and he helped her with it. I loved it. I love this book. 5 stars. I'll see if it stays that way. The only reason it wouldn't is because if them other books are better. That's literally the only reason I'm saying it. Then we have oh my god, I don't even know what to say. This is my first ever dark romance book. I don't think these are the darkest of dark romances. I started off quite basic. These are really short books too. This is The Brutal Prince from the Brutal Birthright series. Literally not even 300 pages. So I read this in like 2 days. Oh my god, what did I rate this? I gave this a 3.75. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to give it more because I believe I read this in like 2 sittings. So if I do that, it must be addicting and it must be good. But then again, it objectively was not good. This writing belonged on Wattpad, and I was a Wattpad girly for a long time, so I know my shit. And this is no hate on Sophie Lark. I've only read 2 of her books. You'll get to the other one soon, believe me. But yeah, and do you know like when books reference a lot of pop culture? I think there was a reference to Selena Gomez actually performing at one of their parties. That was really weird to me. Yeah, also the plot was just really far-fetched. I guess dark romance is. It's like like a mafia type shit book, which is fun. I had a fun time with this. Now, this could have been a 4 because I'm telling you I had a fun time, right? There was a scene, there was a lot of spice in this, and this wasn't my type of spice. I can tolerate some types if it's not overdone. In my opinion, this was overdone, but I kind of just skimmed them chapters, so it was okay. But there was a specific scene, and I know, right, in dark romance, and I'm not a hater, this is no hate, no shade, non-con is like a popular theme. Is there actually any trigger warnings in this book? I mean, kind of just assumed it would be that way going into it anyway. I knew what I was getting myself into. No, there isn't actually any trigger warnings, and I don't think this is bad at all compared to probably what is out there, which probably means that dark romance isn't my thing. But there was a scene where it was quite non-consensual. It was like a punishment scene. What was his name? I don't even remember his name, guys. Ada and Callum Griffin. It was a spanking scene. I vividly recall a gag being involved. I did not like it. And it wasn't even that it was non-consensual. I'm pretty sure she was asking him to stop, if I remember right. With the gag around her mouth, like screaming, and he kept going, which is cool. Do you know what? If that's a kink for you, then fine. Them scenes weren't my thing, but the plot was cool. Oh yeah, so they're from rival families. This is arranged marriage. Ada and her brothers snuck into a party at their house, and she accidentally set the house on fire. This is all in the blurb, so it's not a spoiler. And then this kind of causes like a back and forth, and then eventually the fathers of the family say, right, shut the fuck up, grow up, get married. It goes from there. That is the plot. I then read the second one in the series. This is Stolen Air. I gave this a 4.25. This was a lot better, actually. This one was Nessa Griffin. Oh yeah. And my collage, which put my Goodreads review as well on this one, I would have rated this higher. I wanted to give this a 4.5, 4.75, because I have actually thought of this book a lot since. I just had some issues with the writing, but it's fine. Yeah, this was actually a really sad book too. My collage's sister unalived herself because of a certain 3 disgusting men. So my collage makes it his mission to avenge her. He goes and kills all these men. But when he kills the final man, when he did it in front of the leader of this cult that they were in. But when he explained to the leader why he was going after this man, the leader ended up doing it for him and then taking my collage on as a replacement. Did that make sense? I'm not sure. And then it turns out that when you go into future tense, they're enemies with the Griffins, which are in the last book. So now that my collage works for this guy, I forgot his name, I'm really sorry. I think they called him the Butcher. Now that he works for the Butcher, he abducts Nessa, which is Callum Griffin from the last book, his little sister. It goes from there. Fun time. That's all I really gotta say. Now, I don't have a lot to say about these next 1, 2, 3, 4 books because I have a reading vlog coming out. Full spoilers will be in that reading vlog, so I will try not to talk too much about them now. I don't feel like spoilers are a big deal, to be fair, because I feel like every single person on this planet has read this series but me. It is acotar, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I am currently like in the middle of filming a full spoiler reading vlog. If you're interested in that, subscribe. I'm hoping it'll be out in like a week or 2. But the first book. Now, my best friend Jasmine read the first book. She's not read any of the others, and she told me that it's very slow, a lot of world building, and like quite anticlimactic and a bit boring, and then it gets good at the end, but it wasn't enough for her to continue, for example. And I saw a lot of people online saying the same thing as her, so I was like, right, okay, this is a popular opinion. So my expectations for this book were like down here. So I was thrilled when it was like this good. I give this a 5 star. Obviously it's not the best book in the series, although I say that, I think it might be one of my favourites. Is that like a really unpopular opinion? Sarah J Maas is a little bitch because she kind of throws us off a bit with Tamlin. I don't feel like this is a spoiler. Everybody knows that the main characters are Feyre and Rysand and that you're rooting for them, but obviously when Feyre is captured and she joins the human world, no, the Fey world even, after killing the wrong wolf, it's Tamlin that she stays with at the Spring Court alongside Lucian, his best friend. Lucian, my baby. I fell in love with Tamlin in this book. It was just like a repeat of Shatter Me when I fell in love with Adam fucking Kent. It was just like that all over again. I always managed to like go wrong somewhere. Unlike the Book of Azrael, I found this was easier to follow. Yeah, we follow Feyre kind of just like exploring the Spring Court. Now that I'm thinking about it, did a lot happen in this book? No. It's very character based. You learn a lot about like the world and the people. But that is low-key like what I'm here for, you know? I just loved learning about these characters and I had a crush on Lucian. Yeah, the end of the book though was the best. There were trials, so if you're like a trials lover where it gets really intense like that, this is for you. But I go into a lot of depth about it on my vlog. Stay tuned. Next we have what I think is like predominantly the most liked in the series, Acomath. I can see why this is the most liked in the series. Is it my favourite? No. One of my favourites, yes. This is a big book. Like I said, I've read a lot of chunky books this month, so I'm very chuffed with myself. This is where their relationship grows. Chapter 54 and chapter 55 my favourite. If you know, you know. Like I said, I can't really give a summary because like, that spoils the first book. So if you haven't read it, I can't do that. And this is also the downfall of Tamlin, just so you know. Actually, this isn't even the worst of Tamlin. The worst of Tamlin is to come. 5-star book, by the way. This bitch is the worst of Tamlin. This is acotar, Wings and Ruin. This is where Tamlin fully goes off the rails, and I was fully in it for Ryson and Feyre. This is my favourite book of theirs. This has the most action. It was the most action packed. It had a really good balance for somebody like me of characters and development, and then like plot and action. It was the easiest read of the series in my opinion. Yeah, and I just feel like the inner circle in this book, like the found family, like I said, my favourite thing. It's so good. Like if you're looking for a good found family, this series, cried a lot. Oh my god, I literally edited the clip of me because I didn't finish this that long ago. I finished it like 3 days ago. I literally finished editing like my part of the vlog where I was reading this. I realized how much I sobbed. It's not a pretty sight, so I can't wait for everybody to make fun of me, but it was just a really good time. And this is their last book too, of Feyre and Ryson, so yeah, 5-star. And then the final book of this month, if you can class it as a book, I finished reading this 20 minutes ago. I was waiting to finish this before I could like film this vlog, so I read literally 200 pages in one sitting. This is A Court of Frost and Starlight. I'm not giving this a rating because it was a bit shit, and I'm gonna just class it as a novella, even though on Goodreads does say that it's book 4. I'm gonna pretend it doesn't. Is there really a plot to this? No. This is more so what I would say is a break from the heavy action of the past 3 books, and also a really clear ending to Feyre and Ryson, and it moves on nicely to the next book, which is gonna follow the characters Nesta and her love interest, which I won't talk about that because if you want to read it, you can find out. Yeah, this is just, it's kind of like a holiday special. They just celebrate their version of Christmas really in the fairy realms, which is, it's a fun time. It was fine. I had to read it for the full acotar experience, so that is exactly what I did. Yeah, what I didn't like about this book as well, and this is kind of why I'm not giving it a rating, because if I was to give it a rating, I'd probably be quite angry and petty and give it a low one. Because why? Who thought it was a good idea to switch between first and third person in this book? Like the past 3 books have all been first person in one perspective, to be fair, which is quite me for me. It's literally just Feyre's perspective. Fine, I got used to that. Now you're taking away the first person privileges, and I believe the next book is going to be fully third person, so I can't wait to tell you guys my opinion on that because I'm not looking forward to it. I am a first person girly through and through, so Ryson and Feyre had first person POVs, and then everybody else just had like third person POVs. It was really weird and I didn't like it. It was unsettling, but at the end of the day I love this family like it's my own, so I'll read anything with them in it. It's probably just a bit of a cash grab, I think. No hate, no shade, but yeah, no rating for this one. And that is every single book that I've read in the month of July. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like I've just got a lot off my chest. I feel like I've just ranted for like 29 minutes. That's how long I've been recording. Like I feel like I've just been on like a full-on sprint. Reading is always subjective. I always say this. Overall, a really good reading month. Can't wait to post the acotar reading vlog for you guys. Hopefully it won't be long until I see you guys again soon, and I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing next month too. Happy reading, and I'll see you all again very soon.